Howdy y'all. So I think it's November 20th today, and we're back out here. And yeah, we're still a little wet back here. We've had a day or so of less rain than we've had, so it's still wet, but not too bad. Up front here, the section I got last time I was here, like I said, water was going to collect up in here, but it wasn't going to be too bad since it could only collect so much before it falls over the edge. But yep, so we have those sections here full of water, and yep, that tarp house wrap isn't completely waterproof because it's just dripping slowly but surely. But you know, we got some spots that are semi-dry, so better than it was for sure. But today we'll work on getting this plywood all the way out to the edges, and we'll put some plastic sheeting up like this up on the roof, because I'll pull this tarp house wrap back, put the plastic up, and then put this back over just as an extra layer, you know, mainly wind protection, because the plastic is going to go just to about, you know, down to about here, and then the tarp goes all the way down to, you know, to the ground. So we'll do that, and then hopefully it'll be nice and dry in here. And then I do have 4 more roof trusses to put up to get out to the outside and to fully enclose this in. So hopefully we'll get that far today. Whoa, that's a lot. I didn't notice how much water was in the tarps over here. That's pretty crazy. Let's check this out. Wow. It's nuts. This stuff's pretty strong. So we'll get that pushed out over the edge. All right. All right, let's hope this doesn't pop like a bubble. Oh, it's so heavy. I'm going to do this. That's fun. All right, here we are up top, and I just pulled this, excuse me, this house tarp back, and you can see, you know, I mean, it wasn't all for nothing, because not all of the plywood is super soaked, but obviously in some sections there was some pinhole leaks, and it just saturated more spots than others, especially this one here. Luckily, I'm going to be cutting this off around there anyway. But yeah, so I'll probably end up cutting those 2 today, and then I'll put I got clear plastic, not this black plastic, but it's still impermeable. So we'll put that up. It's in 12-foot wide sections that I have to cut because it's a 12-foot by 100-foot roll. So I'll put 12 feet out, cut it off. I might let this dry a little while, so maybe I'll do that a little later, but I'll at least cut these first. Then I'll start working on, you know, putting this up, the plywood up here proper, and I got to put the hurricane straps up and stuff. So we'll work on doing that, I suppose. So over here I'm just using the chalk line to make exactly that. So it makes so I got something to cut on, and that one went pretty well. And just did it on this one as well. There is a little 4-foot section just, you know, after that underneath those tarps, but I'll get to those in the future, probably when I start working on the house going the other direction. I started nailing this one down, or screwing this one down, and I was like, oh, I have to remove this 4-foot section so I get that off-center pattern. So luckily I only put 1 or 2 screws in that board before I figured it out, and was able to do it proper. And you can see that while it was cold this day, you know, when you get moving around and lifting things, I can shed some layers because I was getting warm. But the second I stop moving, it's like, uh-oh, time to put layers back on. So that time of year. But anyway, so yeah, got this one down. Just doing the screws on the outer edges and setting this one up. Realized I had to move that last board right there so I can get the other one laid down properly. So just get that out of the way, put this up, and then we're, you know, just making sure it's sitting out 3 1/4 inches from the face of the wall. So when I do that little makeshift eave of the 2 2x4s plus the wall paneling wide, the overlap of the rubber sheeting that I'll be end up putting on top here will just go to the end of that. Feels good to be getting this all enclosed up here. And surprisingly, all the roof trusses seem to be ending at the right spots with this plywood. A couple of them, like you'll see me, I think I have to move. Yeah, I'm like, there we go, adjusting the roof truss, but you know, I get it to sit halfway in between each piece of plywood in there, and so it fits good. So give me a little confidence when I'm working on the other end of the house that everything's going to be on the up and up. So remember to pull the 4-foot sheeting here so I can, before I screwed this one down, and to make it proper, and give it that bricklayers pattern is which I believe they call it. It makes it the most sturdy. And the last open sections there on the left side, I think that's a 27-inch piece of wood I got to cut for those. It just gives it that little extra hanging over the edge. And for this day, I think this is far, I mean, I'm putting more sheets up, but it goes out to this far, so it just matches all the roof trusses that I do have on there for now. And I almost forgot to redo finish the hurricane straps, because you can see that tarp just in front of my head there was still up there. But I think I do end up getting to that. Don't want to forget that for all the hurricanes we get up here in Washington, right? So, sitting there and enjoying my work there for a second. Taking a break. And now it is time to cover up some of this roof with some hopefully waterproof sheeting. I think it sits 12 feet wide, and then I just measured about 16 feet to just go over the ends of the roof. And this one here was the first roll. I don't know, it was something with the factory, like it looks like there's some melting on this plastic, so there were some holes, and I just, instead of bothering to take it back and getting a new roll, I just covered it with duct tape and hoping that it stays watertight. You know, it doesn't have to be 100%, but I'd like it to be like 99% watertight so I don't get, you know, more leaks down there. And then where the black tarp and that white tarp, clearish tarp meet, there's a 2x4, so the water just goes over each end, and so I didn't have to tape it up. But in between this new one and the next new section, I do end up taping the seam with like three strips wide worth of duct tape. I don't think I show it though, but that's how I do there. And before I get to the one after that, okay, yeah, get these hurricane straps in there. before it's too late. And yeah, that's the 27-inch piece that I was talking about. And unfortunately, when you cut, a sheet at 27 inches wide, it only leaves you with a 22-inch section to work with. So I need to get another one, but we'll just throw it down for now. I think I talk about that coming up. But yeah, it was just getting dark. This camera does pretty well in the dark, but the footage gets really grainy. So yeah, so I kind of ended up here. I don't show you putting the third piece of plastic up there before I pulled that not so waterproof house tarp over it. But you get the idea, right? So anyway, we'll just pull it up there, and I'll give you a breakdown of all the things I did this day that you just watched. So anyway, we'll just give you a breakdown. So here it comes. Enjoy. Alrighty, we got another day down. We had a few days of not too much rain. I think I mentioned that earlier. So yeah, it's not as wet back here, but it was still leaking. But one thing I did over here today was build a little warming tent of sorts. I just kind of tacked up an old not so waterproof tarp and some plastic sheeting. I think I used these plastic sheets for when I did the first couple of trusses up there. So yeah, just kind of made a little room in here that I can just put the space heater in and my chairs. And so when I get too cold and tired, I can just go lounge in there. I mean, it's not super warm because it's just plastic sheeting, but it's not as cold as it is out here. And it wasn't too bad today. It probably got up to about 48. Right now it's probably 39, 40. So yeah, I'd rather be inside for sure, or well, inside a house that has insulation. But so yeah, so I put that up and got back up on the roof. We saw that stuff, and yeah, it's nice to have the full sheets on most of this section. And I went in here and just kind of raked off all the leaves. So hopefully next time I come here, it'll be much drier. That thing's still gonna be wet. I'll unfold that and fold it nice and put it somewhere. I took this potato chip piece of wood that was here. There was another potato chip looking board over there. And since I didn't put up any new trusses today, and I got most of the pieces cut, that's a 27-inch piece, and then back there, excuse me, and then I just had one that was like 22 inches, and so I just threw it up there for now. And then the 400-foot pieces that I have here and here to just all even out on this last truss. And it was pretty cool that the sections of plastic went just to the end of this truss. So now it's just from there to the end of the house is that not so waterproof sheeting. But I took those little potato chip boards and just cut them in half, and we just threw them up there for now so that the water won't pool up and then either fall into the house or whatnot. I'm sure it'll leak a little bit, so it won't be super dry over here, but at least it'll be minimal, I'm sure. Yeah, so it was nice to get that done. So I think one more day coming out here, I'll put up, so there'll be a truss here, a truss there, and then on the original design, there was a truss on top of the top plate, so it's kind of like two really close together. So there's a little mark right here. Where is it? Yeah, on top of that stud, and then on top of that stud, and then we'll put one at the outer edge of this stud, and then one another, foot out or so. So 1, 2, 3, 4 more trusses, and I only have one more 4x8 sheet in the back, So we'll need maybe 2 more to get the front end of this house done. So, because unfortunately these 2 cutoffs are only 22 inches and I need, 27 on that one. So I need 1 sheet cut to 27 inches. So that's 1 board. And then I have 1 back there. I'll buy 1 more full sheet. So anyway, we'll get that done. I think I just confused myself on explaining that too. So anyway, so that's good. Got everything mostly buttoned up. So looking forward to hopefully some dry floors. And if it doesn't get too cold, I'll come out and button that up and then might call it good for the winter or not. We'll see. But anyway, as always, thanks for checking this out, and we will see you next time.